Y'all, somebody call me again. This is so rude. So if I'm gonna go to 245 degrees, I'm gonna be on the second circle at a 45-degree angle. So here's the second circle. 45 degrees is this first quadrant right here. So that's point A. Well, I want 3 other ways I could put point A right there. So what if I said, instead of 45 degrees, I said the radian, so pi over 4. So there's an option. Remember in a few units ago, we did something called coterminal. So what if I went around again? So let's add 360 to 45. So that'll be 2, what's 360 plus 45? Ugh, I don't wanna think about this. 4, oh my gosh, I don't have a calculator. 405? Yeah, it is. Okay, and let's do one more. Say instead of going up 45, I went negative all the way around. So let's do that in radians. So 2, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 4, 6, 4, negative 7/4. Like if you went the other way, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Let's do the same thing, but for point B. So point B is on the first circle, and we're going to pi. Pi is over here. So there's B. So another way to write this would be 1, and then instead of pi, I could say 180. Let's see. I'm gonna say 1, and then instead of going positive pi, I could have gone negative pi and landed in the same spot. Let's add 2 pi. So 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi would be in the same spot. And there's a bunch more, but that's it. So there's a bunch of ways you can name these same points. Turn the page, let's keep on practicing plotting, because there's some other tricky little guys that come along with this. Focus. Wow, good job. Okay, so we're gonna plot these 4 points. I have my circle here. I labeled all the radians and degrees for you to help you out. Oh my gosh, you're welcome. So first one, we're gonna graph point B. Point B is on the third circle, the third radius at 5 pi over 6. I like to find my angle first and then go to the circle. So I'm gonna go to 5 pi over 6. That's here. I'm gonna go to the third circle. So 1, 2, 3. There's B. Okay, C. Now C is a little bit different because she has a negative. This negative tells me that I'm going to reflect across. So first I'm going to find 5 pi over 4. That is right here. I'm going to go to the second circle. That would be here. And this is where I would put my point if that was a positive 2. But because it's a negative 2, I have to reflect across. So go to the other side. So this is where C is, because pi over 4 is across from 5 pi over 4. Woohoo! D is a normal one. However, you'll notice 7 pi over 2 isn't a number on the circle because it's more than one time around. Because here's 0, 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves. So we're down here at the third circle. So you had to find somebody that was coterminal. Okay, last one. Not only on this one are we going to be reflecting because it's negative, but because this one is negative, instead of going in the positive direction, you're gonna go in the negative direction, AKA down. Okay, you'll also notice 14 pi over 3 isn't somebody on my unit circle. So I'm gonna count by thirds, just like I did for the halves. You could also get in your calculator and find the angle that's coterminal. So since this is negative 14 pi over 3, just keep adding 2 pi until you get someone on your unit circle. So I'm gonna count by thirds. So I'm gonna go down because it's negative. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and I'm gonna go all the way to 14. So that's 3/3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So here's the line for 14/3, okay? The radius is 2, but you have to reflect across because it's -2. So here's the point for A. Let me show you how to do that if you were gonna do the coterminal stuff. So you would have taken your -14 pi over 3, and in your calculator, you would have added 2 pi, and that would have given you -11 pi over 3. And you're like, hey sis, that's still not on my unit circle, so I'm gonna add again. And that's -8 pi over 3. Getting closer, but that's still not on my unit circle. So let's add 2 pi again. And you would have gotten -5 pi over 3. And that's on my unit circle, but you can make it easier by adding 2 pi again to get -2 pi over 3. And then if you add it again, oh, let's just do that. If I'm going -2 pi over 3, instead of going here, instead of going here, I went here. And that's where I landed, but I had to jump across. That's why it's on the other side, because the 2 is negative. So you could find who's coterminal and be good to go, or just count around the circle like I did. So what you're gonna do is practice in this next section. I gave you some points. You're going to name them in 2 ways in degrees, 2 ways in radians, and check your answers on Schoology. Be aware though, I did my 4 answers, but just because you don't have the exact same 4 as I do doesn't mean that yours are wrong. So don't stress out about that. And then on the next page, you have a few more points that I want you to practice graphing. All of ours should match, so make sure you check your answers on Schoology when you're done practicing there. Okay, and that's how you graph polar points. Bye-bye.